Khiree Smith is formerly with the Hartford Communities That Care in Hartford, Connecticut, and he is the lead youth trainer for the CADCA NYLI training team. Come on up, Khiree.
Good evening. I'd be remiss if I were to begin speaking without first conveying my sincere gratitude for CADCA, General Dean, Ms. Khiree Abdullah. I am sincerely thankful for every blessing that's come my way as a result of our relationship. I love you both, and I thank you. Yeah, please. 10 years ago, I sat in the window of my bedroom overlooking the neighborhood. I watched for hours. It was like my favorite TV show. It was around the 4th of July, and I remember, because around that time of year, all of the neighborhood kids, we have access to fireworks, the kind that could kill you. Don't ask how we got them, but we had them. It was nighttime, and it was dark, but I could see my 3 brothers standing in the driveway next door to my house: Barrett, Trey, and Jermaine. Trey, my biological brother, and Barrett and Jermaine, my brothers bound to me through a lifetime of shared experiences. I watched as they stood in that driveway, and they stood there because that's where their customers knew to find them. I remember dropping something, and in the 2 seconds it took for me to bend over and pick it up, I heard what to my ears at the time sounded like a lightning bolt striking a stick of dynamite. It was the loudest thing I had ever heard. It jolted me back to the window, wondering, what kind of firework was that? But when I got to the window, I didn't see fireworks. I didn't see mischief. I didn't see laughter like I expected. What I saw was my 2 brothers, Trey and Barrett, running away, and an unidentified third person getting into a car and speeding away. The next bang I heard was the sound of my brothers bursting through my front door and falling onto the floor, closing the door behind them. The noise got the attention of my mother, who rushed downstairs screaming, "What's going on? Why y'all making all that noise in my house?" My brothers, panting and breathing heavily, responded, "We just got robbed." So my mother asked, "Is everyone okay?" And those words, "Is everyone okay?" triggered a memory, an image in my head from moments earlier that I had somehow overlooked. So I rushed back upstairs, 11 years old, to verify what I had seen. And yeah, it was me that had to return downstairs and notify my brothers and my mother that no, everyone is not okay. Jermaine is laying in the driveway next door with a river of blood flowing from his head. And his body is twitching almost as if he is consciously fighting to prevent what's left of his life from escaping. My brothers collapsed, and they cried. Fast forward to when the police officer showed up. My mother invited him into our home. And as he walked through the door with a smug look on his face, a pad in his left hand and a pen in his right, and with this almost accusational tone, the first words from his mouth were, "Okay, so who did this?" My brothers, feeling so disrespected, ignored his question and asked one of their own, "Is Jermaine okay? Is Maine okay? Does he have a chance? Will he survive?" The officer almost laughed. He almost laughed and replied, "No, of course he's not okay. He was shot in the head. He's dead, and that's never going to change." That was my moment. That was my moment. 11 years old, peering through the 2 wooden banisters of my stairway, and I heard that officer say, "That is never going to change." And I thought to myself, well, something has to. Something has to change. But how? How do I become that change? How do I become the stone thrown into the waters of young society, creating the ripples that interfere, that invade, that interject, that intervene on youth drug abuse, youth violence, youth substance abuse, youth complacency, youth self-destruction? How do I become the impetus, the catalyst that brings about that change? How do I redirect a destiny, change the direction of a young person on a crash course? How? Ms. Khiree Abdullah recognized the presence of that question in me. She saw how it burned, how it stalked, and how it haunted me. And she, metaphorically and literally, grabbed me and looked me in my eyes and said, "You want to make a difference? This is how." The NYLI is how. It is the roadmap. It's the keys. It's the car. All we have to do is figure out how to invest in the fuel. We just got to pay for gas. And I recognized that she understood what it means to work with young people. That she knew that you have to coach rather than control. That you have to listen rather than ignore, mold rather than reprimand. She understood that to tap into the power of young people, you have to empower young people. Y'all don't hear me. She understood that. And that's what the NYLI is all about. I'm going to conclude, but I want to leave with the immortal words that follow, "We the people." But not the "we the people" of the preamble of our nation's Constitution. We the people as written by a national treasure, Mr. Langston Hughes, who wrote, "We the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, and the endless plain, all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again." Now, the NYLI is the key. And if that's not worth investing in, I don't know what is. Thank you, guys. Good night.